Okay, so a few days ago, I noticed that, well, actually, I didn't even notice. This isn't something a normal person notices. But anyway, I was like, I haven't made a video in like, well, I actually don't know how long it's been. This is kind of awkward. Um, well, it's been a while, okay? And I don't make videos. I only really make videos if I'm too lazy to type stuff out or if I want to say something more, if I want to say something that's worth a video. That being said, it's kind of makes no sense because my other videos were me basically doing a bunch of accents and talking about Instagram. Okay, never mind what I just said. Anyway, so I was like, I should make an actual like beneficial video for once in my entire life. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. So inshallah, today I will tell you, not show you, I'm going to give you guys 5 tips on how to make the most of the last few days of Ramadan. And that's about it. And inshallah, I'll benefit and you'll benefit and we'll all just benefit and it's going to be like the best last few days of Ramadan ever. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, and tip 1. The first tip is one of the most simplest and it's about your intentions. And I thought I would start with intention because um, the simplest things make the biggest difference. Trust me when I say this. So, the last few days are coming. So, one of the things you should try and do is to renew your intentions, reestablish your intentions. And what I mean by that is no matter what you do throughout your day, try and be really conscious of that and make it as though, you're doing it, whatever you're doing, for the sake of Allah. And I know that sounds like really trivial and really simple, and you're like, what's that gonna do? I'm just like saying stuff in my head and whatever. But when you are really conscious and you're doing things and you're doing them for the sake of Allah, to please Allah, or you're refraining from doing things or staying away from doing things for the sake of Allah, you're gonna see benefits in your life. Because there is a hadith Qudsi, which is basically like the words of Allah Himself, where Allah says, when my servant takes 1 step towards me, I take 10 steps towards him. And when my servant comes walking towards me, I run towards him. So it's all about, making that effort to be more conscious of Allah in your day-to-day life. And that could be like anything. Like, okay, like setting the table for your mom, you could do it like, you could be doing it because you're helping your mom, but make that intention in your heart that I'm setting the table for my mom to make it, to ease the load off her for the sake of Allah, to please Allah. It's that simple, like, honestly. And it seems like really mechanic and like almost fake, but it's like it starts, that's how it starts, and it becomes really real, sorry. And another thing is refraining from stuff. So like if your sister like borrows one of your scarves and she just throws it in your room instead of, neatly folding it and putting it on your bed as you would like, but she doesn't do that. Instead of like lashing out at her, make the intention that, you know what, no, like she's probably fasting too and I don't want to get angry at her, so I'm going to control my anger for the sake of Allah, to please Allah. That's all it takes. Number 2. Okay, tip number 2 is also very simple, but a lot of us take it for granted, and sometimes we just think of it as something that we should do, and we always say that we always feel like we do it, but we don't do it to the extent that we should be doing it, and that is asking for forgiveness. And that's, again, it sounds so simple, but the benefits that you can get from just being really active in this particular act of, like, it is an act of worship, for asking for forgiveness, you're gonna see the benefits. And actually, there's another hadith Qudsi. Man, I love hadith Qudsis. They're just like, there's always one. There's one hadith Qudsi that reads that Allah Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, O son of Adam, so long as you call upon me and ask of me, I shall forgive you for what you have done, and I shall not mind. O son of Adam, were your sins to reach the clouds of the sky, and were you then to ask forgiveness of me, I would forgive you. O son of Adam, were you to come to me with sins nearly as great as the earth, and were you then to face me, ascribing no partner to me, I would bring you forgiveness nearly as great as it. So that's basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that there's never anything too big that He won't forgive, as long as you Acknowledge that, maybe that wasn't, maybe you did do something wrong, and as long as you ascribe no partners to Allah, then, there's always a way that He will forgive you, inshallah. And you have to remember that, Allah knows what's in your heart. He's the only person who truly knows every struggle you've been through, like why you did things, why you didn't do things. He knows everything. He knows your intentions. So that being said, the simplest thing to do is to take 2 minutes out of every salah you pray to just sit down after your salah, or even if you don't pray, just sit down for 2 minutes by yourself and just ask for forgiveness. Just be really open, be really like genuine and sincere, and just speak to Allah. That's all you have to do. And there's actually a really good dua that I think everybody should know, and I'm sure a lot of you know it. It's Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni, which basically translates to oh Allah, you love pardon, so pardon me. And that right there is just so concise and so perfect. So you're gonna get two benefits that I see anyway from just simply asking for forgiveness, and that is one, you're gonna be freed of a lot of like psychologically like drowning weight that's you're carrying around. Asking for forgiveness really does reduce that. And also the second one is obviously that Allah, just by saying that dua and just by being aware that Allah is the most forgiving, inshallah, and He's gonna He can and He will shower His innumerable blessings to give you so much more strength to deal with whatever you're dealing with, just because you ask for forgiveness. That's a really huge tool to have for the last few days of Ramadan. Okay, tip number 3. This is so cheesy, but anyway. Tip number 3. Okay, this tip is really, really simple too. Wow, these are all simple. But anyway, okay, so you need a pen and a paper for this one. And all you have to do is basically write down 10 things that you wanted to and you still want to improve on this Ramadan, or things you want to do, or things you want to accomplish, just anything. Write them down on a sheet of paper, because you know what? Things are much more, things make much more sense when they're in a physical form right in front of you, rather than jumbled up in your brain and you're not sure what's going on and stuff. You're in a lecture and you're watching your professor and he's, going by the slides or whatever, but he's talking a lot and it's confusing because it's a lot of jargon and words. And until you make your own notes to better understand what he's saying in your own words, it's easier to understand that way. Am I making sense? Kind of? No? Okay. But still, just write out the 10 things, and then from those 10 things, pick 5, okay? So, cross out the ones that, you think you could do, maybe not, they are important, but not as important as other things you might want to focus on in the last few days of Ramadan. So leave 5 things, okay? Now those 5 things, transfer them onto a clean sheet of paper with just those 5 things on a sheet of paper, write them out, and stick that sheet of paper up somewhere where you're going to see it every single day, like near your mirror, or on your side table, or use it as a bookmark or something, somewhere where you'll see it all the time. Because things like that, it's they prime you. You may not even know that it has an effect on you, but things like that do motivate you. So that's a really good tip. Number 4. Okay, this one is also very simple. I'm going to stop saying that in front of every single tip because they're all simple. Anyway, tip number 4 is about consistency and trying to be consistent in whatever you're doing. And the thing I would probably suggest is to try and be consistent in reading the Quran at least once every single day in the last remaining days of Ramadan, inshallah. Try to give yourself, I understand we are busy. We have jobs. Some of us are, mashallah to you if you're still going to summer school. It's hardcore. But, some of us have other responsibilities. But, you have to make a conscious effort. You have to do this. This is your part of the task. You have to take out even 5 minutes. 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, you can read In 5 minutes, you can read 1 page of the Quran, okay? Like, if you're a slow reader, you can still read 1 page in 5 minutes. So give yourself 5 minutes, whether it's really early in the morning, before you even change your clothes, before you do anything, make wudu, have the intention that you're going to read Quran. If you can't read the Quran, listen to the Quran for 5 minutes, build that relationship with the words of God. That in itself, trust me, like, that's a huge thing. And things like that have a huge impact on you. You might not even notice it, but subconsciously, you're feeding certain parts of your body and your soul that need to be fed this kind of stuff. So give yourself 5 minutes every single day to just read the Quran, listen to the Quran. That's it. And the Prophet ﷺ said that about consistency, actually, that the most beloved deeds to Allah are the ones that are consistent, even if they're few. 1 page is not a big deal. 5 minutes is not a big deal. That's on you. So, try your best to do that for yourself. And lastly, tip number 5. Tip 5. Okay. This one, I made a post about it, but I'm just going to reiterate what I said. Basically, one of the most detrimental things that you can do to yourself, and this is not just in Ramadan, this is in life in general. Do not, I repeat, do not compare yourself to other people. Don't do it. You're digging yourself a hole to basically stay in forever and wallow in your self-pity. Do not compare yourself to other people. Do not do it. Period. Just don't do it. So what I mean by that is, especially in Ramadan, we, our friends, it's good to motivate each other and stuff, but instead of motivating, you can sometimes feel bad that, you're not doing the same amount as them, but try to remember that it is quality and not quantity. So like I said in my post, it makes no difference to you if your brother read the Quran for the second time this Ramadan. That makes no difference to you. Don't focus on that. If an auntie is bragging about how she memorized the Quran this Ramadan, mashallah to her, but don't focus on that, okay? Focus on yourself. Focus on what you are able to do within your own capabilities, within your own time. This is the one thing, this is the best advice that I don't know who gave it to me. That's bad. But just always remember and always know, with the utmost certainty, that Allah knows exactly what's in your heart. He knows everything. And all it takes is for you to sit there and just talk to him. At the end of the salah, you have to, don't just finish your salah. And I do that too. Sometimes I don't necessarily make sincere dua, but sit there and sincerely, talk to Allah. As ridiculous as that does sound, it's a really simple thing that can really, really help you. It can boost so many different parts of your personality, your life. It can make so many things much more doable. And you have to remember that one of the reasons, we don't even think about this, but why did Allah, why does he give us a bunch of different names and attributes for himself? It's obviously that we can implore on him with whatever we're going through in life. Okay, so one of Allah's names is Al-Fatah, so the opener. Use that name. Ask Allah with that name, Al-Fatah, the opener, and have the intention that he can and he can and will open your heart. Ask him to open your heart. Ask him to soften your heart. Ask him to bring you closer to him. When you crave that kind of relationship with Allah, and it's sincere, he knows it. Of course he knows it. He knows what's in your heart. It's just a matter of you genuinely asking. And that's what makes the difference. Genuinely asking for it. So yes, those are my 5 tips, and they're not even tips. They're just me being lazy and not writing this out, which I probably will at some point. But inshallah, some of you either could have gotten something beneficial, some of you might think I'm an actual creep and just moved on with your life. That's okay too. I think that's cool, in a way. But yeah, just remember that, it's not the end of Ramadan. You still have time. Just do the best that you can. Really, really think that you can, because the thing is, if you think you can, as cheesy as it sounds. So, distance yourself from certain distractions. Tumblr, Facebook, whatever, Instagram. I need to do that too. That's really the, limit the time you spent on on those kind of things. It does make a difference, and really focus on yourself, because you honestly you still have like half the month to go. You can do this. Okay, you can do this. So be positive. Don't think negatively of yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. Be consistent. And always, always, the biggest thing is make dua and ask Allah to help you, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that should get you any results in the first place. But yes, okay, I'll stop talking now, inshallah. And I hope this Ramadan, well, the first half was beneficial for us and we learned a few things here and there about ourselves, whether it be positive or negative. And inshallah, the next half, we will keep striving to do our best, and may this Ramadan be blessed and rewarding, and may we all be rewarded for our great intentions, inshallah. And yes.